7 races into the NASCAR 2023 Cup season at Richmond, and we have a new driver to lock into the playoffs. Probably a driver that has been very deserving and just has not achieved that win until Sunday, and that was Kyle Larson. Thanks for watching, everyone. My name is Dan. This is my son, Nick. I'm at home. He's away at college. This is how we enjoy the NASCAR Cup season together. How you doing, Nick? What did you think about everything?
I actually enjoyed this race, and like you said, he deserved it. With Byron's wins, Larson was there behind him the whole time, leading laps, having fastest laps. This was coming for Larson, this victory in my eyes.
This was probably the best Richmond race that there's been in a while.
And Byron especially, he's been a superstar this season, but it was his race to win at one point.
Yes.
I'd say. Once he kind of got taken out, it was up for grabs from 5+ different guys, in my opinion.
I think for the very end of that race, I think Kyle Larson benefited from having Josh Berry on the front row with the restart. We knew that he could outrun Josh Berry, and I think Josh Berry being there helped Kyle Larson have a little bit of a buffer to keep that lead, and he grew it out to a second pretty quick, and then it was over.
Because, right behind Berry was Chastain, who I thought could have won. Bell has been great the whole race. And then Harvick was 5th. So any of those guys, if they made it around, they could have just ran away with it.
Yes. Josh Berry is a good example of a pit strategy paying off. Sometimes that doesn't pay off. It did pay off for that team. So good job there. I did feel like for a little bit there that Martin Truex Jr. was going to win the race. If not for that late caution that brought the field back together. Nick, do you think that Truex was going to win this race?
I was surprised by Truex doing so well and staying up at the front.
I guess as soon as that yellow flag came out, it was game over for Truex. They were saying it on the broadcast. He didn't have any fresh tires left, so they had to put scuffed tires on his car in that pit stop. And then did you hear, it wasn't until after the checkered flag that Truex was told that those were scuffed tires. He didn't know.
It's just unlucky, especially with the cautions. They really messed up some guys here. And I guess that's the smart thing for them not to tell Truex, just to have him go out like things are planned. But they had to make the most of a kind of rough situation. And he didn't finish terribly, but it kind of gave up his chances of winning.
So Martin Truex, one of these guys who has been running well, he actually won the Clash, not a points race. It doesn't put him in the playoffs or anything like that. He's been running well. And like a couple of other drivers, there just seems to be the thing that shoots the team in the foot.
Yeah, which him and a number of other guys, I kind of wrote off for the season of not being great. And they've surprised me, but still, they can't follow through. They might look great for the first half of the race, and then they'll fall apart. They just won't be able to seal the deal. And Truex, I just don't see him being able to seal the deal in any of these races.
How about Ryan Blaney? Ryan Blaney had a strong car. You could tell that he did. When he was up near the front, he was running well. But how many mistakes did Ryan Blaney's team make? Did Ryan Blaney himself perhaps make? And then they had the wrench stuck in the top of the car, and it was a great shot on TV. The one guy who was using it, he was trying to get it out. The car starts to pull away. The other guy comes in. He jumps, grabs for it, couldn't get it, rolls. It was a great shot on TV.
Yeah, great shot, but all those things added together really messed him up. And I'm a big Ryan Blaney fan, but just this season, he's been great, and then he's just had some major errors that, like, he couldn't come back from this. I think he finished in the 20s.
Denny Hamlin had a strong car. He had some errors, probably at least a couple that blew up his day. Harvick was good. He was never quite good enough to be the winner of the race.
True. He did keep his streak alive. I forgot what they said. I know it's less than top 10. It'd been for like at least 6 races. He'd just been a top 10 finisher. So good on him for getting those points, but I never saw him as being the fastest car or being able to beat out guys like Bell or Chastain.
Speaking of Bell and Chastain, and we might as well bring William Byron back into the conversation. Byron had the strongest car definitely early in the race. He was there in contention near the end of the race. Byron gets taken out basically by Christopher Bell. Byron's day is over. Chastain was involved, or was he involved? Do you know what I'm talking about here?
That's the thing, and I'm a big Chastain fan, so I might be a little biased, but now we're at the point where any minor inconvenience or some bumping, something, Chastain's in the area, he can be blamed. And I'm pretty sure Bell called him a wrecking ball or something.
He called him the wrecking ball.
Okay, the wrecking ball. I don't think Chastain really. I think Chastain was just racing. I don't think there was any sort of intention for anything. They were three wide. I don't think it's fair to blame Chastain for this one.
Well, and to be fair to my guy Christopher Bell, he did post afterward that he had looked at the replay and he had more room than he thought that he had there in the moment, and so he said, "Sorry, William Byron." Okay, so he probably also could have put in there, "Sorry, Ross Chastain, for what I said." There was a lot of close racing, entertaining on this short track. And we are just in store for more of that, because where are we going on Easter Sunday night? We're going to Bristol and we're putting dirt on it.
Hey, that's definitely going to be a good one. Something really exciting to happen. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think this will be a great race.
So for our race picks at Richmond, we did very well. We've been doing very well. We did not get the winner. Nick, you had Kevin Harvick. He was up there, top 5. I had Christopher Bell. He was up there, top 5. Our consensus top 3 guy was Denny Hamlin. In retrospect, we were debating Denny Hamlin versus Byron. Probably should have gone Byron. Of course, Byron didn't finish well either. So that's kind of a wash. Your sleeper pick was Austin Cindric. Didn't quite show up in this one.
No.
He was back in the 20s. And I had picked Eric Almirola. He was kind of silent until the end. He came on and he ended up with a 13th place finish. So are there any changes at the top of your rankings?
Somewhat. I still have Byron as the number 1 guy. Larson, I moved him back up to 2 just because he won and it was a good win for him.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, I didn't really hear Joey Logano's name much in the broadcast, but he still finished 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So credit to Joey Logano. I've got him at 3rd, Chastain at 4th because he's got a top 3. Chastain has a win coming. I know he's got a win coming because most of the time he's right there. It's just one of these times he's going to make the pass, he's going to make a good play, and it's going to work out for him. And then 5th would be Kyle Busch.
Well, you cannot argue at all with having Byron and Larson 1 and 2. I have Byron and Larson 2 and 3. I've got Byron 2nd. I've got Larson 3rd. I thought about moving Larson up above Byron, but actually not totally sure if Larson would have won this race if Byron was still hot at the end. And I've still got Christopher Bell as number 1 because he did turn in another top 5 finish. And same as you're saying for Chastain, Christopher Bell's win is coming, and it's coming soon.
I've got Bell at 6 because I do agree. I'm not as big a Chris Bell fan as you are, but he's just been showing up with good performances. So I feel like there should be a win. Harvick, I've got him at 7th. He's been so consistent this season. It hasn't really been, oh, I think Harvick's going to win. It's more, oh, Harvick's been running top 10 this whole race. There's no reason why he's not going to finish top 10. I decided to place Reddick above Hamlin. So Reddick would be 8th, Hamlin 9th. Reddick really didn't show up much in Richmond, but I still see him as a driver being very, very good. He's already got the win. He's already gone to the playoffs. I think he deserves top 10. And then rounding out 10th would be Ryan Blaney, someone that I'm still hoping for more out of them. It's been rough because he's been good and then he's got errors and I know he's better than it and I just want to see him win.
My only change in my top 10 this week was Denny Hamlin fell out and I brought Kevin Harvick in at number 10. Very consistent. I did bump Martin Truex up a little bit, Daniel Suarez down a little bit, just based on what we saw this week. Not a whole lot more changes. When I get down towards the bottom of my top 20, it's hard to really differentiate between those guys right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. 11 and down, it is kind of a toss up with some of these guys because a lot of them are just, they've just been decent, and it's hard to rank decent against decent when you've just got consistent like teen finishes, some 20s, maybe a top 10, nothing really special that like sets them apart. It's kind of hard for me to rank. And also with Bristol Dirt Race, I don't know if I'm really going to let that change my rankings that much just because of what kind of race it is. Do you agree with that?
You know, there are going to be some drivers that are going to shine in that
Hmm.
situation. There will be others who definitely don't. There will be other drivers who are going to be wrecked out of that race through no fault of their own.
Yeah. So definitely not going to let next week kind of sway my ratings that much. I'll be looking for good dirt drivers and stuff, the guys that I'd expect, but still I'm not going to make any drastic changes based off of that. I've got Bowman in 11th. He's right on the edge of 10. He's been good. I still am slightly skeptical, but I just can't argue that he has been a good driver. Right after him, I've moved Truex up, Brad, Suarez, Briscoe, kind of just a toss up all the way to 15.
No changes for me in my last five positions. Nick, did you have anybody new entering your rankings? Anybody falling out?
Guess who finished ninth in the last two races that we
Ninth.
haven't mentioned yet? Finished ninth.
It wasn't Ryan Priest. No.
Ty Gibbs.
Oh, right.
I've got to recognize in that. So I've put him into my top 20 because two top tens in a row. They haven't really been talking that much about him on commentary. He hasn't really been doing much. He's just been slowly advancing through the
Mm-hmm.
through the order and just surviving. So I got to give Ty Gibbs credit on that. And also, he finished sixth at Richmond. I think he finished 12th before that. But Michael McDowell has also been a guy that he's just been sneaky. He's been surviving the race, slowly moving his way up, getting those points. So I give both of them credit. They haven't been in my top 20, but I've placed them both in now. Or I think McDowell's been in my top 20, but that's where I put them now.
So as we look ahead to the Bristol Dirt Race, there are a small handful of drivers who kind of have that reputation of these are the dirt guys. Among the top tier Cup drivers right now, two that I think you could refer to as dirt track background guys are Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell.
Those would be the two that I would name first of the top guys.
And we have had two previous Bristol dirt races, of course, in the spring of 2021, in the spring of 2022. You'd be interested to know that Christopher Bell's best finish on a Bristol dirt track has been seventh, and that was last year. Kyle Larson's best finish was fourth, and that was last year. So those are good to middling results. So who has had the best results in the Bristol dirt race? You might be surprised to know, or to refresh your memory, that Joey Logano won this race in 2021, and he was third last year. A couple other drivers that I think of when you say a dirt track background, these are not up there running for wins every week, but I also think about Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Austin Dillon in those terms.
Those are two that I would think of. And then of course I'd always think of just veteran course drivers like McDowell. How does
Mm-hmm.
his stats compare on this race?
Yes. So surprisingly, McDowell has been consistently good. He had a 12th place finish and a ninth place finish in the two dirt races. Also, the last Bristol concrete race, he was 11th. Not that there's a whole lot of correlation there, but McDowell, when it comes to this type of race, has been good. Austin Dillon has not done well. He has a 31st place and 21st place in the last two dirt races. Stenhouse has a good and a bad. In the first one, he was second in that race, second runner up to Joey Logano. Last year, he was 29th.
Yeah, so just with this track especially, it's a whole different group of names that we'll even like bring up as guys to watch. Like Stenhouse, we're bringing him up as a possible great driver for this course. It's just funny.
Yes, Ricky Stenhouse, 2023 playoff driver. He
Yeah.
might go for another one.
Mhm. How was Cindric's stats on this last season?
Austin Cindric has only competed in one of these races, and that was last year. He was 16th. And we will, weather permitting, hopefully, we will get to see practice sessions on Friday night this week. And then we will have qualifying heat races. All
Mhm.
right, that'll be exciting
Yeah,
to
those
watch
will
on
be
Saturday.
those will be different from usual, but I think it's going to be helpful in getting information on just who can pass well on these courses, more than just their speeds, but who's got the car and the navigation ability to get around guys.
Some other Cup drivers to note that have performed well at the Bristol Dirt Race. Ryan Blaney last year was fifth. The year before that, he was eighth on dirt. And Tyler Reddick, he was the runner up, second place last year, and he was seventh prior to that. Okay, so last year's dirt race, Kyle Busch was the winner. And if I'm remembering this right, didn't he kind of steal that win?
Mm-hmm. This was the race where, in the last couple laps, it was kind of a dual showdown between Reddick and Briscoe.
Yes, that's right.
And so at the very end, Briscoe made a move which got him loose. He kind of bumped into Reddick, and they both spun out. And Kyle Busch was in third just to take the win. So Briscoe and Reddick's stats might not show it for that race, but they were contenders for it. And Kyle Busch, third place to first, just like that.
And so Reddick was still second in that race.
Oh, okay.
So I think Reddick is definitely going to be a guy to watch here. And
Mm-hmm.
you can never rule out Kyle Busch either.
Yeah. I mean, and this could be a Briscoe one. He's been cool, heating up a little. This could be one that he finally gets going on.
One driver who has done better on Bristol dirt than he has on just regular Bristol short track is Daniel Suarez. He has finishes of fourth in 21 and 12th last year on dirt.
That's not bad. How's Chastain doing on
Okay,
these?
Chastain has not been good in the end. Now I can't say exactly what happened here, but he has finishes of 33rd and 35th on dirt.
Yeah.
The winner of the last race at Bristol was Chris Buescher. Of course, that was on concrete. On dirt, he has been 15th and 14th, so not bad. William Byron, who is strong everywhere these days, he has finishes of 6th and 18th, so pretty good. I'm not going to rule him out of anything right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule him out of anything. And with a lot of these guys, they'll have a top 10 and then it'll be like a team finish just because this race is unpredictable and something could have happened that they spun out and fell back a couple places. So it's kind of hard to judge guys based on their final standing when they could have been leading the whole race and you just don't know.
I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who has been watching. We don't know everybody who's watching, but we have seen that we've been getting a few more views lately. So I would like to ask you, if you're watching right now, go ahead, unless you're driving in the car or something like that, go ahead and hit the like button because that's helpful, I guess, for other people to know about our video. And, you know, Nick, we do this because we just enjoy it. Like I say every week, it's the way we enjoy the NASCAR season together. But we also like to share it with all of you. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, and of course it adds more motivation when more people are watching it, which I mean I don't know what we're doing different, but I'll take it.
Well, you know, we started this thing last season and then we lost that momentum. We started it back in the playoffs of last year and we've been going strong ever since then. All right, so let's talk turkey. Or perhaps on Easter Sunday, let's talk bunny. Who's going to be the winner?
I really don't know with this one. There's nothing I'm feeling super confident on in terms of some of these guys. Like there's guys I believe like Bell, yeah, he'll be there, but is he gonna win? It's
Yes.
kind of a one shot with these picks. I'm gonna let you pick first.
Yes. Christopher Bell. He's going to win.
Oh well, that was easy. There you go.
No, I told you. I told you. He's right there. I'm going to pick him until he wins, unless I decide that me picking him is what's causing him not to win, which, you know, that's never going to be the case. You know, it won't be easy. I don't think anybody is going to dominate this race. Even if somebody dominates this race, I don't think that they're just going to be able to run away with it at the end. I feel like Christopher Bell's time to come out as the victor is going to be this week.
For my pick, You know I love a good underdog story, but this week I'm going Kyle Larson. He just won. He's just going
Hmm.
to keep that momentum going. I unfortunately think it's going to be another Hendrick show with Byron and Larson up front. I think Larson's going to seal the deal and win this dirt race.
Chase Elliott has been good here. Of course, he will still not be back. Josh Berry will be driving his car, but Josh Berry, Bowman, you can't rule any of those guys out right now. So I've got Bell in the Toyota. You've got Larson in the Chevrolet. How about our top three consensus driver? Who's going to make the top three behind those two this week?
You think Logano's a good pick?
I think Logano's a good pick just because he's got the history here.
Hmm.
He has a way of sneaking up at the end of these races.
Should we be safe and pick Byron?
I would want to say Blaney because he has done well here, but I'm off the Blaney train because something will happen to him. He might be running well, he might be leading the race. Something's going to happen to Blaney. That's just the way it is right now.
Well, that is the thing with him, and I want him to win more than anyone, but I'm not risking a pick on Blaney for sure.
We could go with Chastain, but he doesn't
That's
have
a
much to,
risky. That's a risky third.
yeah. We could go with Reddick.
Who's gonna
Yeah.
be third though?
Okay, let's set it up this way. We've got three guys. Who's going to finish the best between William Byron, Joey Logano, and Tyler Reddick?
Most likely, it's got to be Byron. You just can't argue with how the season's been. I hate to say it, but who do I have the most faith in just being there? It'd be Byron.
Okay. Yeah, between those three guys, it's a tight decision for me, but I'm gonna follow you there. Now we can get interesting here. We need a sleeper for the Bristol dirt race.
Yeah, get interesting. And I personally am feeling risky. I'm gonna pick Michael McDowell.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I'm feeling risky. I'm confident in McDowell. I think he can survive this track, and I think he can be there at the end.
So I might join you with that riskiness. I was really about to say Ricky Stenhouse Jr., but I'm doubting that he's going to be driving the macaroni and cheese car. That was a great car. If
Mm.
he's driving some kind of weird two-tone thing, then I'm not going to pick him. I know that's a silly reason. So my sleeper for this race is Christopher Buescher.
I think that's a very solid sleeper pick. Still risky, but Chris Buescher can make it happen.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the one thing I like about this track, especially.
Well, it's going to be an exciting weekend. There will be Friday practice, Saturday qualifying, Sunday night race. We get to celebrate Easter this weekend too. Nick, you'll be at the house, so we'll watch this one together,
I
right?
know this will be a together one.
Okay.
Excited for the night race.
Well, thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you the next time.